welcome to my backyard. Here today is Carol Garcia Landry, my travel buddy, and today we are going to be tourists, or we were tourists.
We were tourists.
Yes.
We rode in tuk-tuks.
Yeah, we did. I love that. I think that's like the best. A tuk-tuk is like a little golf cart, and they go over these roads that are all cobblestone. And you're the whole way. But anyway, so we just recently came back from Guatemala. We went over to Guatemala thinking that we were going to build a house. We did that.
We did.
But we did a lot more.
Yes.
So besides building the house from like 9 o'clock in the morning until like 3:30 in the afternoon, we filled our day on both ends.
We did.
Yes.
It was great.
Yeah. So we would get up early. I would wake up at 2:30 every morning because I wake up at 4:30 here, but that was okay. But we would get up at 5:30. We would go out because the light is beautiful to take photographs.
Yep.
And then we would come back. We would have breakfast in the compound where we were staying. And it was beautiful because it was like they have many of them. They have the walls around it, and then they have the rooms inside, and they had the most beautiful gardens. So we're going to show those a little bit.
Yeah.
And then we would go to the build and then come back home at night and then go back out, get some dinner. And we took so many photographs. And I know Carol does wonderful photographs. She loves walls and texture and different
walls.
Things.
I do.
And I like knockers, knockers and doors.
On the doors.
Yes, yeah. But, you know, so there's just so much to see and so colorful. And so we wanted to share that with some of the people at home.
Yeah, and one of the things I wanted to say was Antigua, Guatemala is an old colonial city in Guatemala. And it has many, many times been hit by earthquakes, floods, different things. Mm-hmm. And yet they preserve all of these wonderful old buildings. And it's just a wonderful place to be.
Yeah, they're magnificent.
They are.
I don't know. I can't imagine them building these today and how they built them back then even. I mean, everything is out of, stone or, cement or whatever they used. I don't know what exactly the materials are, but they have withstood a lot.
So, lots of cobblestones.
Yeah, a lot of cobblestone, yeah. So we're going to look at some of my favorite pictures. I call this Beautiful People. And you'll remember some of these photographs that I took along the way, but they're just, to me, very memorable. And I do take a lot of pictures of people from the back. Just because a lot of times it's a respect thing.
Yes.
Sometimes I've been told that they feel like you're taking their soul when they have their photograph taken. So I'm kind of taking it without them knowing. And we do this often too, just because, there's some really beautiful sites there.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
So let's look at some of the photographs. This is in the evening.
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't get much more beautiful than that.
That's one of the volcanoes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And so, there's lots of mist and some of these may be in the morning, some of them may be in the afternoon. This was on our way to an organic farm called Cabao. They had the best food.
They did.
And beautiful gardens, and you may see some of those along the way here. So this was what was her name? Tomasa. And the little dog, now I can't think of the name of the dog.
I'm not going to remember it either now that you said that.
Yeah. Anyway, it was just so much fun to come home to that.
Yeah.
This is one of the churches that was along our walk. And you can see the streaks because there's a canopy actually across the street, and you could see the streaks in the shade there.
And most of the church behind the facade is not there.
Right. So again, Fuego. And then let's see what
Toby.
Yes,
Toby
that was
is
the dog.
the name of the dog.
That's right.
Oh.
Yeah, so Jennifer is the daughter. She's on the left-hand side, and then she had two friends.
So nice.
And this was before they went to school. And they're just so cute. This is Antigua. This is a photograph from up in the mountains as we were traveling.
Looking down into Antigua.
Yeah. And this is what some of their tiendas look like. They just have
their little
supplies.
shops.
Yep. Mangoes and, anything that somebody's going to need, eggs, whatever they're going to need, they have right there. So that's like their corner store. This is one of my favorite pictures. Just the way that the ladies traditionally wear their clothes, some of the buildings along the way. Mm-hmm. Oh, sorry, guys.
Some more good
this was at the market. Yeah, so they have a huge farmers market on the weekend. It seems like it goes forever.
Yeah.
But there is everything that you would want to find.
I think it's most days, actually.
Is it actually?
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I can't imagine doing that every day.
Well, they have to make
Oh,
any money.
I know. But you
Yeah.
can get anything that you want there. Oh, my bees. Yeah. So on the bees, I have to tell just a quick story. The bees were one reason that I wanted to come over and go over and look, because I wanted to see how do they keep bees. So I asked the people at that organic farm if I could go and visit their bees, and they couldn't do it. And I kept thinking, this is what I'm supposed to do. I'm supposed to go and find the bees. So finally, one morning, Carol woke up and the birds were singing like crazy out in the trees in our compound, which we're going to show pictures of the compound in just a minute. And all of a sudden we looked up and we could hear the birds, we could see the birds, and there were
the
bees. So all this time I was looking for beehives when in our
Everywhere
compound,
but
all it was there.
home.
Yes. So it taught me that we have to look a little bit further or let things go, because we can't always control things and have them happen the way we want them. Sometimes they just happen and we have to look, and there they are right in front of us the entire time. Incredible. My philosophy for today. Yeah. So again, just some more beautiful pictures. This was at the procession that we were at for Santa Ana, and just beautiful traditional dress. This is the number one. You can see that's going to be the first people that are going to be carrying the processional float that's going to be coming out. And I just thought she was just a beautiful little girl.
Yeah.
And I'm sure she didn't realize that I was taking her picture. But, again, beautiful people.
Yeah.
And then where we stayed, again, we were tourists.
Yes. We were very lucky to be in a wonderful, what we would think of as a homestay.
Right.
And just a wonderful place that was a huge garden in the middle of it, and safe.
Yep. Except
and
for the vehicles.
At 1 a.m.
Right. But yeah, it was right around the corner from Houses to Homes. So we would just go from where we were right around the corner, get picked up in the morning, and go to do the build.
Yep.
And
sit in that back of that truck.
I know. You never knew. Yeah. That was interesting. But anyway, when we'd come home, we'd come back to the compound. And so I have some pictures of the compound where we stayed and some of the gardens that we had. So this is me when I was relaxing towards the end. I did a lot of reading. I read a book about bees again. But
in the middle of the garden.
Yeah. It's just a beautiful area. And that's the tree that the beehive was in. So this makes it look like the compound is huge, but it's really not. But it was just filled with a couple of big trees and beautiful flowers.
Yeah.
Yeah. Again, more flowers. You're going to see more flowers and more flowers.
And this is probably not peak season for the flowers.
Right. And it was actually the dry season because they weren't expecting any rain.
Yeah.
So, but they had orchids all around, and the jacaranda.
Jacaranda or bougainvillea. You'd also see some other trees.
Yeah.
Another tree.
That looks like it might be on the other side. Oh, and there I am. I am very talented.
There's
Look at
Jody
me fully.
with Tomasa.
But we just had a wonderful time, and we had everything. We could go out, we could go shopping if we needed to shop. We were probably 6 blocks from town.
Yeah, from the central plaza.
For Antigua.
The Plaza Mayor.
Yep.
And Antigua is a very cosmopolitan in that there are a lot of people from Europe who live there. So we had to get our own meals, which meant going to Italian restaurants twice and Guatemalan restaurants a couple of times.
Yeah, go to the grocery store, buy our peanut butter and jelly.
Yeah, at the supermercado.
Yes.
Yes.
And we bought our yogurt, and we tried to do everything right. You can't eat the food on the streets. It's just not safe to take that chance. But we did really well, I think.
We did.
Yeah, we did not starve. We ate pretty well. So another part of our trip was, again, taking photographs.
Yes.
So we would go out in the morning, again, and in the afternoon when the light wasn't really bright. And we looked at buildings. And Carol especially likes to have walls that have different textures on them, different colors and things like that. And she brought some pictures today, some photographs today. But I just wanted to look at some of the buildings that we looked at along the way. And then Carol, if you want to, put some photos up as we go along, that would be great too. But let's take a look at some of the buildings. And this is just typical. Most of them are built from cement block, and then they kind of like stucco over the outsides, and they are just beautiful. You know, you've got some traditional ones, things that have been there for years and years.
You'll notice they're all fairly low because of the earthquakes that have happened. They cannot build things much more than 3 stories at the most.
Yeah, yeah. But a lot of greenery, a lot of trees, just beautiful. Again, I apologize.
Yep.
Sorry, my name's Mary. Sorry, sorry. No. We had some really great people that we worked with there as well. Mary and Drew, her son, helped us along the way with the
build.
From houses to homes. So again, just beautiful houses, you know, and some of them have the clay roofs. You just never know what you're going to see along the way. So, Carol, let's look at a few of your photographs, and then maybe we'll come back to some of the buildings. So this photograph here, tell us a little bit about this.
Okay. So if we do it on mine, will that? Okay.
There you go. Yep.
So this is, gosh, I mean, the coloring was just so perfect. Almost every door has a little area where when you knock, that little door behind the grate will open up, and they'll decide whether to let you in or not. And Jody doesn't have any of those pictures here right now, but she did a wonderful job. And this one I took several years ago, which is probably one of my favorite. Antigua has these beautiful windows, and this is a mother and daughter in indigenous clothing that I took several years ago.
Yeah, that's just beautiful.
The other thing I like is the old walls. You're still running on it?
Yep.
Okay. So the old walls, let me see
and
if
this
I
is
can get
just
this.
the wall. This is nothing that has been enhanced at all.
No.
This is just the way it
So
looks.
this is years of painting, repainting, things falling apart. And I took this several years ago. Now this actual window seems to have a little graffiti on it, so I'm glad I got the picture then. But just the way the colors just moved. This one reminded me of a river. And again, these are just
so many layers of paint.
Yeah, so we have that.
Yeah.
And I guess this kind of last one, I think, here. Okay, to me it looked like a school of fish, but I could not believe all the different colors and the pockmarks that would cause that little bit of black to show through. So it's kind of crazy love of mine. That's what I like to do.
Right.
Yeah.
So, you know, like you go out looking for certain things, I go out looking for certain things, and it's so funny because we're walking along the way, and all of a sudden, Carol's walking along, and I've stopped.
Yeah.
Because I'm going to take a picture, and then, you know, I'm sure it's sort of a pain for Carol, but, you know, there's certain things that just talk to you along the way when, you know, we're traveling along the streets and things.
I did want to just show one more, and this is not a wall, but this was up in Coban, and this was one of the Masons who we were on a break, so he was just kind of watching all us gringos having our break and our sodas or bananas or whatever.
Yeah.
And it was just such a wonderful shot, and he was a really great guy. And you would have thought I posed him the way he was standing there.
So did you enhance that one at all?
Actually, it was done with a special thing on my camera that would only bring out a little bit of red. And so he had that little bit of red on his hat.
Because everything else pretty much is gray anyway.
It's, well, it's not far from real, you know, but it did end up with a black and white background with that little bit of red coming out.
Yeah. And, you know, I've seen lots of photographs. You do things from around here as well.
Yes.
You have a beautiful barn that you take photographs of, and I know that you've been in the auction at Stonewall Farm and other places. And do you ever have things that are up downtown in Keene?
I do the art walk.
That's right.
And starting, I think, this Friday or Saturday, I'll have pictures up at the Harrisville General Store.
Yeah.
But just kind of local stuff.
Isn't it nice to have
It is.
artwork?
Yeah.
And also, what's nice around here, too, is to have something different. You know, like when you can bring this kind of artwork into an area. It's not like we have a lot of this style. You know,
Right.
we're all farms and, you know, New England. But it's really nice to see something a little bit different.
Different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So let's take a little bit more of a look at some more of the buildings. I think we have more
yeah.
pictures. So isn't that beautiful? This was in the morning. I think there was one morning that we went out for breakfast, and this might have been it.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's just, even the properties that don't look like they are that expensive, you know, they're just beautiful.
Yeah.
You know, and just all they needed to do is just put a little paint on it and
a
brings
lot
them
of
right
these
back.
doors, you just don't know what's behind it.
Right.
So that volcano right there is Agua.
Uh-huh.
You can kind of see the bowl
Yeah.
at the top.
Yeah. Yeah, and you know, a lot of these, you know, these houses, they have painted, but you know, it's a lot.
This is the main church?
Yes,
Yeah.
it is. Yep, that's right
So
downtown in Antigua. Yeah, and we've been inside of that before, and it is
Oh, and
absolutely
this
beautiful.
is someplace on the other side of this, the water is where people would actually do their wash.
Yes, yes, and then the volcano is in the background. This is Carol doing her work. This is what she does.
Yeah.
But and then you can see the streets here. You know, every single street is cobblestone. There's not any. It's not like the sidewalks are easy to walk on either.
No, and
You know,
the
I can't imagine
cobblestone
being
is harder
older.
to walk on.
Yeah,
But-
you have to watch every single step that you take. You have to watch where you're walking because you never know it's going to go
In
down.
general, most of certainly the indigenous people in Guatemala are quite a bit shorter than we are, because you have to be careful if you see the windows that have the iron.
Right.
Well,
and they stick out.
If you are not watching,
Yeah.
you're going to meet that face to face on
Right.
the sidewalk.
Yep. Yep. So this is one of the carts that they sell like fruits from. I think they were selling mangoes and things like that. I wish I was there.
That looks like a travel poster.
Yeah, it does. It
Yeah.
does. Yeah, and this is just down one of the alleyways. I think this was actually in Filippo, Philadelphia, when we went up to the procession that they had up there. And this is one of our favorite spots.
Yeah, that's the arch, which is a very, it's a real
That's a landmark. Really.
landmark
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
Antigua,
And
Guatemala.
the co-op that we go to, the women's co-op, is right next to that.
Yeah.
And we met some really, really nice people at the travel agency that helped
did.
us out. Yeah. I can't remember what the name of it was, but
Yeah,
very
they
nice
were
people.
great.
Yeah.
Right near the arch.
Yeah.
Look for the guy and who has the British accent, and he was so nice and so cute.
Yeah, yeah. So these were some dogs. We went out one morning. We were out in a park, and these dogs were actually chasing off, was it pigeons or something?
Probably.
Yeah, and so it was funny to watch them just, again, along our little walk. And this is pretty typical. You know, we don't see this everywhere,
No.
but they use whatever they can to have a home. And you have no idea, because in behind that, it could be a beautiful compound. You know, you never know what you're going to see.
But some of the places where we have built homes over the years, the people had corn stalks for walls.
Right, right.
So
Yeah.
there's definitely a need for that.
Yeah. So this building here is the same as the one that we saw in the photograph before, and this is really just a facade. There is no building back there. It's just what's left after the earthquakes that have happened,
Yeah.
or all of that time. But there's really beautiful architecture,
Is
statues.
that Merced?
It's the top of the church, one of the churches that we were
Okay.
we were looking at. I just thought it was beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah. And this was right around the corner from Houses to Homes. I would walk out while we were waiting for the trucks to come and pick us up for the builds, and just see what I could find. And I found this, and I just thought it was really, you know, quite nice.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
Yeah. And you were asking the lady, you were talking with this lady about something, about the windows, or...
Could be.
Yeah, yeah. No, this
talk
was
to
this was
anybody.
on one of our last days. I think
Yeah.
it was on Sunday, and we were looking around, and you both were admiring the architecture of
Yes.
the windows and things like that. And then this guy, this again, you know, like when we talk about, I don't want to take pictures where people know that I'm taking them. I really was taking. I wanted the picture of the gentleman, but I took the picture of the building. But it's kind of cute. But he looks
yeah.
so tiny, you know, and he is tiny, but it's just a beautiful to me, a beautiful photograph. And then another one of those houses. So, there's all kinds of different buildings in Antigua.
Yeah.
And you just never know what you're going to find. And, we were very, very lucky to have good weather every single day.
We did.
Yeah.
And meet wonderful people.
Right, right.
Yeah.
And we were there during the processions. The processions are held during Lent, and we were there on, the 3rd and the 4th? Sundays.
Yeah.
And those are just incredible times when they carry these floats through the streets, and in many cases, it's for 12 hours. So they have different groups of people that will carry them throughout the streets, and they walk for a mile, a block.
A block, which
block
can
and a half.
be like a city block.
Right. It's
So,
pretty long.
yeah.
Yeah. And those floats can be pretty heavy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They can.
Yeah. So, Carol, we've done a lot of traveling. This was your 9th trip, and I think
Yes.
it was my 4th or 5th trip to Guatemala.
Yeah.
What do you get out of these trips?
Get to see another part of the world, get to meet wonderful people, do some work that really makes you feel like you're working, and just kind of remove myself from different things that may be happening in our country and see how simple life can be, but it really makes you appreciate some of the things you have in your life, but it also makes you realize, boy, we have way too much.
Yeah.
And there's so many people who have so little, and they're happy.
Right.
And it's all about family.
Yeah. We were going through some of the photographs when we were at the site. I had some on my camera. And I honestly, I don't live in a very luxurious lifestyle. I'm very, very happy where we are. But I almost felt guilty because
Yeah, you do.
one of my rooms is as big as their houses.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they make the best of it. And sometimes they have 6 or 7 people
Yep.
that will live in that one house, or extended family. You just, I don't know how they do it, but they do.
They do.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And sleeping in one bed, or whatever. Or
Yeah.
the foods that they eat are very, very simple. We had black beans every morning for breakfast, which I love.
Yeah.
And they eat a lot of rice and a lot of staples, and once in a while they'll have a chicken. And
Yeah.
when we had our build, we had a ceremony at the very end, and that was incredible. We had this delicious chicken dish, and do you remember what it's called?
Was it the pepien?
Yes, the pepien.
Yeah.
And it's got a few little vegetables, and it's got like these little melon things in it, and
It's a melon squash type thing. Yeah.
And to me, that was a lot, because
Yes, it was a lot
for what
for them
those
to
people
do.
would have had to
Yeah.
spend the money to buy that and to cook it and to provide it for us.
And it doesn't mean that they were able to have
Right.
any of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I think all of us sat down, but that's not something that they would do every day. And at the end of the build, all of us, Mary, Drew, you, and me, we wanted to do something for them. And I don't know that it made that much of a difference, but we wanted to celebrate. And so we went out and we went on an excursion to find a cake.
A chocolate cake.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, because that's something that they can't have very often, if at all.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
and we got our
what a
spoons
nice-
and our
yeah.
knives and our plates, and it was just something that we really wanted to share with these people, because we were happy to make them happy.
Yeah.
And to see the face of the family at the end,
yeah.
it really made it all worth it.
Yeah, and we know that we're learning more from them than we're not teaching them anything.
Right.
We're just really the ones that are able to learn so much from them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I would really encourage people to
Yeah.
learn a little bit more about, these kinds of trips, if it's Habitat for Humanity, and I know that there's all kinds of different
Houses to Homes is a smaller group.
right,
that,
from houses to homes.
From
Yeah.
houses to homes. And it's just a really wonderful group. And I felt that I got to work a lot more on the job site
Right.
with just 4, or they never have
Right.
more than 6 people
think
working
that's
with
smart.
them, and then the masons.
Yeah, because we've gone to sites where we had 10 or 15 people
Yeah.
all at one site. And how do you get you know, everybody to have something to do.
And you don't always. And,
Right, right.
You know.
And, you know, this location that we were at was really pretty nice. I mean, we've seen places where, you know, the electrical lines were hanging down. We've worked in weather that was rainy, thinking, I hope I don't get electrocuted.
Oh,
you know,
that did happen one time.
scaffolding was not really scaffolding.
No.
You know, like I was very, very impressed with
By the tools,
this.
the safety,
Right.
yeah,
the whole thing, the planning that they did. So, you know, to me, I would recommend From Houses to Homes just because
I would too. Yeah.
they've got it, you know, they're doing it for the right reason. And
Yeah.
besides the fact that they build houses, they have a school and a clinic.
Yes. Yeah.
Again, both very impressive. Everything is clean. And that's what you find there too, is all the kids are clean. Most of the kids go to school. They wear uniforms. And to be in a dusty place where they are, those uniforms are immaculate.
Oh, they were.
Yeah, yeah. So, you know, we've brought back our photographs. You have photographs that you've taken and you've framed and you've got, you know, on display throughout the community. I'm really happy that you've taken them because I think there's a story that needs to be told
Yeah.
from all of these photographs, and that people need to open up their minds a little bit and not be so judgmental on why certain people do things, because a lot of these people that come to this country send their money home and they're trying to help their families become something a little bit better. So I'm very, very happy to
Yeah.
you know, have a relationship and know what it's like for these people.
Yeah.
So
That's right.
yeah. Well, it's the end of the show.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
And I'm hoping to go back to Guatemala someday. So I'll get a hold of you.
Oh, yeah, that's for sure.
Yeah. Okay. So today we've been in my backyard. I would like you to love your life, live it well, and be grateful. That's all I have to say.